Hey guys, Jeff Holman here with Intellectual Strategies, back on the video camera really quickly here after the last video. I didn't want to go too long, but I wanted to show you the survey that I sent out and explain how I did that and why I did that. And now I'm going to show you the results of that survey. Before I show you those though, let me just say, I noticed that my last video somehow, the video software I use somehow, when I restart it, it reverts back to old settings. And so the last video you got, I think, poorer quality than this one, but that's just the way it is and some of the limitations of my system. So I apologize for that, but you still get access to all the same information. The other thing I want to explain up front here is that the survey, I actually sent it out in 2 rounds. And you won't see that here the way that it's set up because I sent it out first to an email group that I'm a part of. And I sent an email out to Steve. Steve runs this group. He's kind of the grand master of this group. And I said, hey, Steve, do you mind if I use this email list to send out a survey link to all the participants? And I'd want to do that because I don't like spam any more than anybody else. I don't want to get kicked out of the group. And I just wanted to be courteous. And so I asked him and he said, sure, that's awesome. The other thing that came from that was Steve said, oh, that sounds really cool what you're doing. You should talk to this guy about your product. He's been doing certain things, creating some products, and you should connect with him directly. I didn't know him. He's in the group. I didn't know him at all. And I was really grateful that Steve would go out of his way to say, not just let me use the group, but also tell me I should connect directly with Paul. And so I've since done that and glad to have done that. So that's the first thing. I sent it out to the email list first. And then, and so all the results I got, the first 40 something results were all exclusively from that email list. And then after that, I left it open and I sent it out then to the Facebook group. And I got another 30 or 35 responses or something like that from the Facebook group. So and the reason I did that is because that's it's a broader group of people. It includes some international people, and I wasn't sure, I don't know that my market, I'm not serving Europe right now. I'm not looking to serve Africa or Asia. And so people who are in that group that are in different markets might have some information, some feedback that is a little bit less relevant to me initially for my project. So I wanted to make sure I got kind of a focus group initially, but then expand out beyond that, beyond just an email list that I had. Anyway, enough about that. Let me show you the responses that I got so far. And remember, this is about the problems that people have stored in their gear, not about my specific solution. That's not in here anywhere. And I ran this for a couple days on the first group, and then I opened it up and just provided a link on Facebook to the second group, and then they responded in addition to what I already had. Okay, so are you a runner, a cyclist, or both? And so you'll see there are 74 respondents, but they're actually, oh gosh, what is that? 100 even. 72 plus 28, 100 answers here. Some people are both. That's all that means. And I don't have the count. I could look that up one by one and actually export from Google Forms to use that. Google Forms is great if you want to do some simple surveys. The other survey I did, I used Qualtrics just to maybe show you the difference between the two. But you can use this one. It gives you everything you need to do, I think, for an initial survey for people. So I've got a lot of runners in my survey respondents, and I've got some cyclists. Now this was really curious to me. I would not have guessed this. How do you store your gear? People, a lot of people, a third of the people, and again, this will have some people who checked more than one box, but there are a lot of people. There are 38 people and 37 people who store stuff in boxes or crates and in lockers or closets. 17 people store stuff in duffel bags. Let's see, this is backpacks and drawstrings. You probably can't see it on the screen there, but and then there's all these other things people store on hooks and they pile it up and they put it in plastic drawers, which I think are more like boxes or crates. Pegboards. Some people love their pegboards. They'll how they organize all their gear, show the outlines of where each shoe goes. But this is the bulk, right? That's not unexpected that the bulk of people use these types of things, and maybe it's not unexpected because those were the default answers on my survey. But I was surprised that boxes and crates were bigger than different types of bags. Okay, how happy are you? People are generally pretty happy. If you remember right, 5 was they're happy and 1 is they're not happy. People are generally, either ambivalent, that's how I would take that, or generally pretty happy. Out of 74 responses, 22, 25, what is that? That's 37, and that's 59 people out of 74, probably about 2/3. They're maybe even more than that. They're generally happy with what they do. There's not a real big problem here to solve or a reason for them to change what they're doing, right? So this was interesting. When you travel, I guess maybe not as interesting. It's kind of what I expected before. When you travel, how do you store your stuff? It goes up to 54 people that use a large duffel bag or something like that. And another 44 people, or some overlap there, that use backpacks and drawstrings. So all of a sudden, up here you had, we'll just call it 75 responses out of maybe 110 responses that said boxes and lockers and crates. Now, in travel, you have 98 responses out of about 110 that say bags, some sort of large or small bag. And so that's what I expected overall. Now, how happy are you with your current gear storage solution for travel? People are generally pretty happy, right? And let me flip back over here, just show you that. Unhappy was a 1, very happy is a 5. So when I go there, that to me is not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see people say, I hate it. It doesn't work very well, right? But you have to, and this may be me talking myself into why I still should do something, even though the survey doesn't say that. You be the judge. But what I do know is it's really hard for people to say they don't like the solution they're using if they don't know any other solution. So you're going to be, if you don't know a better way to, I don't know, cut a pizza, then you're going to keep cutting it the same way, and you're not going to have any reason to be dissatisfied with the way that you cut a pizza until somebody shows you that there's a better way to cut a pizza. Same thing happens, right? It's kind of the iPhone effect or the iPod effect. Nobody knew that they were dissatisfied with the way they listened to music until they realized you could put 1,000 songs in your pocket with an Apple iPod. And so asking about the problem and satisfaction with the problem is a little bit hard at this stage because people don't have the solution. So I'm taking that into account. At least that's the way I'm interpreting it. But let's be honest. The survey responses say people are generally pretty happy. Maybe that's about the same. 22, 25, and 12, 19, 29, and 11. I mean, it's about the same, right? This is what I really like, though, is I go in here and I get to say, what's the best feature about duffel bags that you've used for gear storage? And I have all these different answers. These are things people love about using duffel bags, or maybe even a specific duffel bag. So I can start to see, are these things that I'm actually incorporating into my design or not? Or, is it something I'm already doing? Maybe there's some ways, maybe it's not the core feature of my invention, but it might be something that I could throw in there really easily, like, a separate separate shoe storage area, collapsibility, waterproof compartments. So those are some things. I also like this, able to grab and go back with the essentials. So, the ability to grab stuff, that actually is the problem that I'm solving. And they somehow use duffel bags to do that already. We'll see if they like my solution better. Anyway, what's the most difficult thing about storing your gear in duffels or bags? So this is where I get kind of the open feedback. Do you like actually the way you're doing it? Or do you think there might be a better way to do it? Even though you're generally satisfied, like we saw here, with how you do it, how you use a duffel bag, you're generally satisfied, but what would you change? What would you improve? And so, finding what I need, not having smaller pockets. I really like that one because that one speaks to what I'm doing. Gets all mixed up. Okay, I fix that. Stuff gets lost. I fix that. Separation of clean and soil items. That's sort of something I address with part of what I'm doing. Finding it in a black bag because it's dark, it's hard to access. It stinks. I'm not necessarily going to address that one. Remembering where you've put stuff, I address that. Remember to pack everything. That's a different issue. Might be ways to solve it, but not with what I'm doing. Small entry points on the pockets, like you can barely get into the pockets. Okay, I think I'm addressing that. They get sticky. Okay, I'm not addressing that. But I can't find anything because not enough pockets are divided. That's exactly what I'm doing. No issues. Not able to see items get buried. I'm addressing items getting buried. Not enough pockets. I do that. Everything getting mixed together. I'm addressing that. Small things getting lost in a sea of pants and shirts. I mean, this is the problem. The people, 64 people, have responded to this question, and 4 out of every 5 are talking about how things get mixed up. They get lost. They're hard to find. They're not organized. I need more pockets. And so that's how it works. So it's fantastic feedback to get from people. And this is why you do a survey about the problem if you want to, because then you get to have feedback about not just what the problem is and validate that, oh, now I feel good because someone thinks that the problem I thought was a problem, they also agree with me. That's part of it, right? But what you really want to do is now you're gathering knowledge and you're getting the language of your consumers. People who would actually hopefully buy your bag are telling you the exact words they use to describe the problem they have with their equipment. And so now when I do another survey, I can draw from this and I can say, okay, have you found that organization is a problem? Or pulling everyone, I think they meant to say everything, pulling everything out to access what's at the bottom. Bags are awkward to carry, have multiple bags. So I can start to use that language to, even though I'm a runner already, I can start to use that language to now hopefully connect even better with my target audience. And then the other thing, let's see, I'm not going to go down there. Would you like to be included in another survey or review of the prototype duffel bag when it's ready? 73 responses, 57% of those said yes. So now I've got like 45 emails that were provided below of people that said, yeah, contact me again when you have a prototype. So I'll show you that survey later. But this is the result of my survey. I think it's really informative. It is not the end. Like, I wouldn't go out and spend $50,000 based on this survey because it doesn't really validate my solution. It only gives me information about how other people think about what I'm calling the problem. But that's good enough for me as a gate or a check to now say, okay, yeah, I'm satisfied. I'm going to move to the next stage. So I'll keep explaining what those stages are, but wanted to share this with you. I hope you found it insightful, and I'm really glad you're joining me on this journey. It's I get it that I'm creating a lot of videos, and the overall process is not always completely stimulating, but that's the way it is, right? Not everything you do in your innovation journey is going to be like TV binge worthy, right? We're not creating sitcoms. This is more Seinfeld-esque, where you're creating a show about nothing. And this is just the day-to-day tasks of what you have to go through to actually get your own product from idea to product launch. And so I hope you're finding that insightful. I hope you're able to adopt some of the things I'm doing or adapt them to your own process. And I'm really glad you're joining me. If you want to follow along, there's a subscribe button here on the YouTube channel. Please press that, select it, send me a comment if you've got questions about what's going on. I'm going to try to respond to all those, and glad to connect about this at any point. And if you have resources for me, you think I've missed something, shoot me an email. Let me know. Tell me in the comments that there's something more I should be doing or a better way to do it. If I can incorporate it, I will. And if I can't, if I'm past that point or something, then at least somebody else reading the comments or watching this video will have a chance to then use your insight in their process too. So that's it for now. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll chat later. Bye.